morning, everyone. I'm Karen Amel from Conscious Strategists. We are this morning speaking with Ibrahim Alzabi. He's actually right now located into Glasgow. Good morning, Ibrahim.
Good morning and good afternoon here from Glasgow, Scotland, where I'm attending the COP26.
That's right. So this morning we will speak with Ibrahim about his perspective about being part of Glasgow, the COP26 this year. Since he was part of COP21 also the previous year, we are interested to know about his perspective about those big events that are so important to us. So, with no further ado, I will let Ibrahim speak about his first impression getting into Glasgow for the COP26. So, here we go. I'll let you speak, Ibrahim.
Thank you very much for the invite. As usual, it's really good to talk to you and discuss the sustainability perspective around the world. But first of all, let me introduce myself and where I work and
Yes.
the different hats I have, if you don't mind. My name is Ibrahim Alzabi. I'm the Chief Sustainability Officer of Majd Al Futtaim. It's a conglomerate based in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. We have business in 17 markets. And our businesses, it's between properties. We develop, own, and manage shopping malls, hotels, mixed-use projects. That's a properties business. We also have a retail business. We own the 100% the franchise of Carrefour in 37 countries. We are also in the leisure entertainment and cinemas business. We're considered one of the biggest owners of cinema screens in the Middle East and North Africa. Also, we have a lifestyle business where we represent and own different brands in the Middle East, such as Lego, Abercrombie & Fitch, Hollister, among other lifestyle brands that we own as a company. I'm also the chairperson of the corporate board of the World Green Building Council.
Yes, I'm glad you're mentioning that. That's great. This is recent, actually, right?
Yes, I was elected a couple of months ago. I'm also involved in the UN Global Compact. I'm the vice chair of the UAE and the board member of the Saudi local network. So I've been in private business. My background, I'm in the private sector for the last 10, 12 years, but my background is United Nations, where I was in my previous life as a youth advisor, as well as government NGOs. So I think I've been to most of the stakeholders related, at least to the COP, the Conference of Parties meetings, and the environmental part of sustainability that I manage within the company. I think the road to COP26 been a bit of up and down, especially with the pandemic, but also having the first in-person or hybrid climate-related big meeting in Glasgow here in Scotland, and COP26 made it even more important, because what we learned from COVID-19 that business as usual is dead, no longer exists. And of course, with what we've been witnessing with climate change and its risk and how related to businesses, made it even more important. So I remember Copenhagen, which was a bit of a failure, I think, where we couldn't, the world countries could reach a deal, but also with what happened in Copenhagen, we used it as an awareness for the topic. COP21 Paris, it was great. I was there and I was part of the built environment deal when it comes negotiations, when it comes to using low-hanging fruits such as the built environment and greening the sector and decarbonizing around 40% of sectors responsible on emissions, to COP26 now in Glasgow. What I've noticed that the role of private sector, it's increasing more and more, and role of private sector in emerging markets, I would say, where they want to step in and say, we are part of the solution, we can invest. And it shows that some of the multinationals even need to step up into their word and climate change and climate action word. The second thing is the power of youth.
Hold on, Ibrahim. Okay, hold on. That's interesting. So what you say is that they are actually looking into getting into actions to what they have committed, the big company? That's what you mean? So they didn't have the
Absolutely.
mechanism to be reporting and to be measured, I guess. Is that what you mean?
Absolutely. I think we've seen that the ESG movement now is big in business. Investors are going into, you want to have access to capital, you
Yes.
need to have an ESG related reports or rating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Emerging markets, it's a booming market. I believe that they like to do they have the time to do more business where other
They have
countries
the time.
maybe.
Okay, hang on. They have the time to do more business. What do you mean by that?
I mean, they just started.
Oh,
They're fresh businesses and
yes,
young countries as well. So
yes.
the development we've seen in Europe and North
Mhm.
America is just
Yeah,
started in some of the countries in emerging markets.
that's
Also, the disruption that happened in the supply chain during
right.
COVID,
Yes.
we've seen more regional cooperation in
Mhm.
the emerging markets. So with
Like India,
this,
if I may interrupt, if you're talking about emerging country, you mean also India, although it's a huge country.
I mean Middle East, North Africa,
Yes.
Southeast Asia, South Asia, the subcontinent. So I look at Africa as well, and
Yeah. Okay.
some countries there. So they want access to capital. They want to do things right, and this is
Mhm.
what I've seen in the emerging markets here in COP. People are there to provide either technologies that can
Yes.
solve problems and they want to enlarge these technologies, or they want to have access to capital to do things right. So this is what I've
Okay.
seen. Uh,
Yes.
the power of youth. Now the youth, they're not
Yes.
only, we have, maybe we
The
can have two
generation.
sides of the story here. So we
Mhm.
have the youth power with Greta and whom she represents out of, we cannot do things as usual, which
No.
it's a fair deal, but also we see the young, well-educated
Yes.
youth that come up with solutions using the power
That.
of technology. So this
Yes.
goes hand in hand.
That's
And
right.
I
If
will,
I may,
it's
get it, jump in, because I know you're really good with doing these information session. Is that today in Glasgow? It was there was a protest. I think there was a protest with the young one, right? They were protesting
yeah,
the
today is the Youth Empowerment Day,
yes,
and
yeah.
interesting. I was part of two initiatives that we launched at the UAE Pavilion for emerging markets.
The two what?
While there were
Mission?
two initiatives,
Oh,
because of
yes,
yes,
yes.
uh, while there was power of and pressure of youth outside the negotiation halls to put
Yes.
pressure on governments and private sector and different
Okay.
stakeholders to act, we
Yes.
used this to launch two initiatives in the emerging markets. The first one we
Okay.
called the Posterity 20,
Okay.
where we're going to look for shakers, innovators, young
Oh,
innovators from the emerging markets and
I see.
create a platform for them, help
Oh,
them, make an A-list of them, give them access to
oh,
markets, give them access to mentoring, and
fantastic.
celebrate them. The other one
To
is
give
the
them a
minister.
voice. Is you want to provide
Absolutely,
a voice for them,
absolutely,
a tribune. This is
absolutely,
fantastic. Yeah.
absolutely. The second initiative was launched by the Ministry of Climate Change and Environment,
Today, today.
the region's first VC, venture capital on clean tech technology.
Okay.
And this is the first time in the region where investors, it's an investment for common good. So
Oh,
seed money, seed investments in clean tech or solutions related to environment and climate action. So we
okay.
started to see more into walk the talk,
Yeah.
not only a celebration, but also it's an action-oriented day. So it goes parallel, goes hand in hand, and
And
I'm
in
happy to see that.
Oh, of course. So these are responsible investment. So we're going to see that towards the new generation. They will have that in mind that it's important to consider the investment, that it's part of it, right? It's part of the
Absolutely,
of bringing innovation. If you want to innovate, you need to have the capital to do that, and a responsible capital, right? Responsible.
absolutely.
Fantastic. So this is good news from today, actually. I think the young one, we don't hear enough, like for now we do, but I mean younger generation, I can see North America, let's say, maybe we're not the one that are in the front row into the
Well,
sustainability, but the young
I
one,
think
they don't hear that
yeah.
much about it. I don't think they feel accountable yet, enough in a certain way, because COP26 is not very popular with the, let's say, teenagers, and even in the 20s, they don't really feel like following. You really need to push them to make them realize how important it is.
Well, I'll tell you something from pure business perspective. We
Mm-hmm.
serve more than 550 million customers across our assets. We have
Say that
44,000
number
staff.
again. Say that number
More,
again.
we serve more than 550 million customers across our assets in our markets. We have
Yeah.
44,000 staff. And if we talk about the Middle East and North Africa, more than 50% of the population, they're under the age of 30 years old. So the young people are either our customers or our labor force.
Yes.
So we have the responsibility of preparing such young workforce or such young customers to the challenges ahead if we want to stay in business. So for us, it's a deal breaker for us. We need to ensure that we are up to the standards that the young people are looking up to.
Yes.
The second one, we provide the tools for the young people for the challenges ahead. We are aware there will be challenges. There will be socio-economic and environmental challenges, unemployment, climate change, waste, access to capital. So it's the new business model. If we look at post-COVID-19 business model, this is the new business model. It's a win-win business model between the community, the planet, and the businesses.
Yes, of course. And it's a new business model, a sustainable one that we want to keep for a long time. And bringing the young one at the table, to discuss, include them into the thinking from the board of director, to really think about the newer generation. So this is so important. Exactly. I'm so glad that you shared that with us today. This is fantastic. And you can have also a broader view looking at all the other events that you've seen through the timeline of sustainability. You've seen a lot of improvement, but also a lot of actions that are taking places, I imagine, from all the events that you've participated the past years.
I think the evolution of events, I have to say, I'm not a big fan of big events unless we have a clear objective. Yes. And one of the highlights, I think, and I'll be very modest when it comes to COP with this, is for a change, we started not talking about the problem, but talking about solutions. And for me, I'm happy with this. This is a big thing. I agree with you, but I'm happy with this. We identified, at least when it comes to environment, that climate change is happening, and it's happening now, and it's a problem. So let's talk about climate action now, which means let's talk about solutions, how we can solve this problem. And this is what I've seen, at least from most of the stakeholders, be it young people or private sector or NGOs or business organizations, that we are there talking solutions more than that we have an issue or we have a problem. And I'm happy with that, at least.
That is true, yes. And I think that was actually the theme of this conference this year, the COP26. We heard Greta was saying no more blah, blah, blah. So I think that was a good line, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
For promoting just action, and I read a few things about India. Let's say that they actually agreed to respect within, I think, the 1.5 degree within 2050 or 70, I believe. It seems to be quite far, but as you said, they're new to this, and it seems to be a long adventure for them to get there. But there's also a political will, to do.
Well, if I speak from our region, UAE announced last month that they're net zero by 2050, and the snowball effect started in the region. Saudi next week, the week after of UAE announcement, Saudi 2060, Bahrain as well. So we're talking about oil-producing nations committing to net zero, which I think they definitely raised the bar by default. But the commitment is not enough. We need to discuss the how. I think it's more important to discuss the how and how we can achieve that. I personally believe built environment can be one of the best low-hanging fruits. We're talking about 40% of the emissions,
Yes.
and we have a lot of know-how there. We have green building standards, we have clear mitigation, adaptation, embodied carbon. We can achieve, I think, when it comes to built environment, carbon neutrality by 2030 across the world. And I think,
Yes.
but we need to start now, which means if I want to build something now, this building, most probably it will stay by 2050. So I need to start now. I need to start think of passive design. I need to start thinking how I build to ensure that this is an environment friendly or a green or carbon neutral building. So and it can be done, by the way.
Can be done, and we know
Engineering.
that.
Yeah. Yes.
Engineering.
Exactly.
We have the knowledge now. It's just we really
Yes.
need to be engaged and to take the responsibility as a citizen, to really jump into this. And as a corporate citizen, the enterprise, the corporation needs to be willing also to include all the reporting and any standards that we now have available. Actually, we had a really good news 2 days ago. SASB, you remember the foundation SASB from UK, they actually created the Value Foundation, and they will actually have the ISSB, which will have one of their office in Montreal, and the other one will be in the UK. So this is a very good news for us in North America, and then it's actually going to be in Montreal. The mayor, Valérie Plante, actually mentioned it to the news this week. So this is fantastic. So I think this is a good step, making sure that every corporation take those agreements and are willing to take the time to implement and integrate these metrics, as you said, to make sure that we do progress. So this is good. And I'm hoping that we can get to see you before you leave. I know you have 2 days before you go back to Dubai. Are you flying back direct to Dubai?
Yes. Well, today we announced the initiative related to youth. Tomorrow is another big day. Tomorrow is Nature Day.
Okay.
And I will announce the region's and UAE's first nature-based solution project that we implemented already.
Okay.
This is related to beehives. So tomorrow, I do a daily update actually, but tomorrow I'll be launching officially our first NBS, nature-based solutions project in the United Arab Emirates. So, and the day after, I'll be flying direct from Glasgow to Dubai. But I'm coming soon to Canada, and hopefully I will see you all in Canada soon.
Yes, that would be fantastic. Actually, last time we met, we were with the Peter Shefke, the environmental secretary, when it was Jonathan Wilkinson at that time, not a long time ago. But we did have some elections since that time. So now it is Stephen Guilbeault, our Minister for the Environment, and we are very pleased with that. So yes, thank you so much for all those wonderful information that we cannot get without being in touch with the backstage of Glasgow. This is fantastic, Ibrahim. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're so busy doing interview and traveling, and you are a little bit everywhere where big events are happening. So thank you for your precious time, and looking forward to share with you some other news that you want to share with Conscious Strategists. We are located into over 27 or 30 countries maybe now. So it's wonderful to be able to share our knowledge and to catalyze our strength. So thank you, Ibrahim.
Thank you very much, Merci, for hosting me, and looking forward for more cooperation.
Merci, Ibrahim. Ibrahim is in Glasgow, COP26. I'm talking from Montreal downtown in Quebec, Canada, and looking forward to speak again. Thank you, Ibrahim. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.